Hi, welcome to FEU. This is COMM1103 or Communication Theory. This will be our course orientation. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ray Jane Calicdan del Campo. You can simply call me Ma'am RJ for spontaneous discussions such as synchronous classes, chat messages. But for more formal discussions and communication like email and with your formal assessments, please call me as Mrs. Del Campo or Mrs. Del Campo, Calicdan Del Campo, not Del Ocampo. There will be a deduction if you call me with my wrong last name. I am from IAS, Institute of Arts and Sciences, and from GE and Communication Department. My email address is in my online calling card, and please feel free to consult with me during the consultation hours, which is Mondays to Friday, and usually I am online between those times 1 to 5:30 p.m. depending if I have classes or not, but I usually respond faster during this time. Now, for the agenda of our discussion for today, we have three. First, FEU General Student Guidelines. The second agenda will be the course information. And the last will be class matters and policies. For our first agenda, we will discuss General FEU Student Guidelines. For this course, Communication 1103, follow a modular organization for our entire course. When we say modular, there are specific modules that we will have for this entire course. And then there will also be weekly tasks in each of the modules. Once the modules are published in Canvas, the first thing that you will look at is the study plan checklist. When you look at the study plan checklist, it will give you a guide on what are the things that you're supposed to be or you're supposed to do for that entire for that entire module. If you follow the study plan checklist, definitely you will not be lost in this class. You will not have a concern in terms of confusion on what to do, what will be the next thing that you should do. So think of it as a prescription. If you follow the guide in the study plan checklist, you're good to go with this class. Next, or we follow formative and summative assessments. And then it's outcomes based, meaning you will be graded based on the results, the outcomes, the outputs that you're going to produce for the entire course. That's why there are several outputs from the tasks given to you for specific modules and for the entire course. And we also follow the DELECT principle. When we say DELECT, these are the core skills that we want to hone to the FEU students. So the DL stands for digital learning, the EC stands for effective communication, and of course the last two letters, which are CT, stands for critical thinking. And then to give you an idea, we are following independent study type. We are encouraging for students to have sense of independence whenever they work on with their studies. Just to compare, just to give you an overview, even before the pandemic, these are the ideas and principles that we are following in FEU, in GE curriculum. We want our students, we want to promote independent learning, unlike with when you were in senior high, junior high, or even elementary, when you're used to with the spoon feeding that the teachers gives to you. And I would like to give you an idea that in college it's very much different. We won't be giving everything to you. We will be the guide on the side, but this time you'll be more responsible with the learning that you are taking in for this semester and for this course. That's why, we are promoting outcomes based, DELECT, and independent study. Now, for the learning modalities, since we are in an online study setup and for this school year, there are changes when it comes to the learning modality. So you can choose between mixed online learning, or independent study. Just to give you further detail and to help you decide on which learning modality you will be taking in for this semester and for this course, here are several points for consideration. You will see that on the left column. So in terms of attendance, are the same with MOL and IS. We do not check the attendance still. And then for synchronous sessions, both are still optional since there is no attendance. However, the consideration in terms of periodic and optional synchronous session are given to those who will take independent study. The idea is that if you will take independent study, we are assuming that you have limited internet connectivity. That's why there is less availability on your end to attend synchronous sessions. Unlike with MOL, if you think that you have more resource in terms of internet connectivity, hence more option and opportunity to attend synchronous sessions. Now, with asynchronous sessions, okay, the third row, asynchronous sessions, both are mandatory. You have no choice but to do the asynchronous tasks. These tasks include the assessments, the Canvas discussion, and of course, consultation with the teachers. All right? And then submissions, both deadlines are the same. Okay? So you might say, if looking at this table, somehow, ma'am, it's somehow same. What's the difference apart from the internet connectivity on the end of the IS and MOL? The next table will give us further delineation on the difference between the two learning modalities. Now, in terms of consultation, with MOL, yeah, you can do synchronous and asynchronous. Unlike with independent study, they do less synchronous but more on asynchronous, given the idea that there is less internet access. Now, how about the pros and cons to help you weigh further and choose between MOL and IS? But in MOL, if you're the type of student who wants, to feel a sense of belongingness, there is class involvement as one of the pros. And then there's also an opportunity for immediate response since you partake in synchronous session, and there's immediate opportunity for the teachers and the classmate to respond on your learning needs. Now, the cons there, or the consequence. For MOL, you should have good internet access. While on the other hand, with independent study, the pros, or one of the pros, is of course you have more time to work on your end. There's more flexibility in terms of time. And then the cons, if you're the type of student who is, who needs sense of belongingness, in independent study, there is less class involvement since you have limited internet connectivity. Now, to further decide and to sum up these tables that we have discussed, you have to consider two things before deciding on your learning modality. First is your internet access, and second is your capability of learning or your learning style. So you have to consider those two factors in deciding what learning modality you will take in for this semester and specifically for this course. Up next, let's now discuss grading. So I'm sure you're familiar with these terms, formative and summative assessment. So for formative assessments, it will be weighted with 70%, while summative assessments are 30%. Here in COMM1103 Communication Theory, there will be 8 formative assessments, 4 of which will be submitted before the midterms, and then the other 4 will be submitted. You'll be doing that after the midterms, before the finals. And then the summative assessments, you have 1 for midterms and then another 1 for finals. So a total of 10 assessments for the entire course. Now, how to compute for your grade? So here is the formula. It looks a bit complicated, but it's simpler. as it is. Okay, so for your formative assessment, the sum of the scores for all of the 6 components that you have for all of the 6 formative assessment. So you will total it all, the raw scores, and then multiply it to 100 before you divide. Okay, remember PEMDAS. Okay, so you multiply to 100 and then divide it with the total items. The total items is the highest possible score. And then, after you have attained that, you multiply it to 0.7 since it's 70%. Okay? And that will be the total of your formative assessment for the entire semester. Same goes with the summative assessment. Same procedure, you're going to multiply the total of the raw scores. Then you divide it with the highest possible score and multiply it by 30%, hence the 0.3 here. And then that will be the equal of your summative assessment. So the product or the output for the FA is the F. You will add it with the SA, which is the S. And that will be your numerical grade. Alright, so do not compare your grade with what you see in Canvas, because in Canvas, it simply adds up all without the weighted average of 70% for FA and 30% for SA. So you might be confused and you might get a different output if you do it like that. So make sure when you practice this formula, you consider if it's a formative assessment or a summative assessment. But actually, to put it simpler, summative assessments are those that we have in a periodic evaluation. One is midterms, and then the second summative assessment is for finals. And then once you get the numerical mark, you want to know if you will pass or not for this subject. The passing mark is 50%. Okay. Do not be disheartened if you get around 70, 60, 80, okay, not anything lower than 90 or anything, because it's very much different with what you are used to, with the grading system that you are used to with other schools. And even from our parents, during their time, they're used to with the grading system, which is the idea wherein, for example, you got 75, you got 70, that's pasang-awa or that's palakol. That's what we have in Philippine culture, right? But it's very much different with the grading system that we follow here in FEU. That's why you have to explain the grading points and the grading system that we follow here. So, if you got 70, it's not pasang-awa. It's not a poor grade, all right? Now, to help you explain it to your parents, your guardians, or to whoever person that you need to explain your grade is, here are your guide. So we have letter A as your letter mark, and then you have the numerical mark, and then we have the quality points. So you have to take note of the quality points because you have to meet a specific quality point index before you'll be promoted to the next year. For example, you are second year. Before you'll be promoted to third year, you need to meet a certain quality point, okay? And we do not want to go short with this one, or else you'll be a PINRA or program non-readmission. You will not be admitted in your program, or UNRA, which is worse than PINRA. University non-readmission. So you will be kicked out in FEU if you did not meet a certain quality point grade that we are standard. We have to follow and based on our standards. So if you'll get an A, it means you have exemplary performance. You are as good as the teacher already. You can replace me at the end of the semester. And then if you got the B+, it's a high level of performance. It's around 85 to 91. And then we also have the B, okay, above average performance. The range here, the numerical equivalent is 78 to 84. And this is it's above average, huh? So even if you got 78, it's not a bad score. And then we have 71 to 77, ample level of performance that will merit you a C+. It's still a passing, it's still a good mark. And then we have the C, which is sufficient level. It ranges from 64 to 70. And then somewhat low level. So if you get a D plus or D and below, that's the time where you should be alarmed. Okay? So D plus, you have to work further. There are major points for improvement. And then we do not want to go with this part, which is the D. Okay, D is low level of independent and self-regulatory learning skills. And of course, we want to go away with the F, which is a failing mark. If you get a numerical mark below 50. All right, so those are the grading system that we have for FEU. At this point, do you have any questions or clarifications regarding our discussion? This sums up the first agenda for our discussion. Let's now go with the second agenda for our orientation. We will now have the course overview. For this class, the course status are as follows. First, the credit is 3 units. The total learning time is 54 hours. That's why in our entire semester, we have a total of 18 weeks, including this week, which is our orientation. And then the course status, this is a professional major course. And your prerequisite before you can take this class is that you have to have passed COMM1101, which is Introduction to Communication Media. Now, for our course expected learning outcomes or CELOs, we have 4. So I will be reading and you follow with your eyes. The first one is to trace the historical development and context of communication and media theories. So we will look at the development in terms of evolution of these theories and the genre of these theories or various genres of these theories in the communication field. The second CELO is to discuss theories in conjunction with the FEU Department of Communications Research Agenda. The very reason why you are taking communication theory is that this course entails as a preparation for your research writing in your next year, in your next level here in the communication department. And the idea why you need to write research is that you have to contribute something to the communication field before you'll be conferred that bachelor's degree. But apart from that, of course, it's really nice to study communication theory because it's theories, because it helps us understand and explain the things around us. Now, moving forward with the next CELOs, the third CELO is that we have to develop an understanding of the basic principles, strengths, and weaknesses of various communication and media theories. So we will look at the axioms and the concepts embedded in the communication and media theories that we will study, the strengths and weaknesses of the theory, and the evolution of such theories. The last CELO is apply communication and media theories to global and local situations, issues, forms, and practices in communication and media. The theories that we will study are futile if we do not know how to apply these theories on certain situations that are needed. Now, for the course outline, within the 18 weeks of our semester, how are we going to progress and course through the entire semester? Now, we are currently in week 1. That's why we're doing the orientation. And then we'll have a review of the basic concepts that are very much vital as a comm theory student. And then we'll have Module 1 by weeks 2 to 3. The Module 1 title is focused more on nature of inquiry and theory. We will have the basics of studying theory. What are the things that we have to take into consideration when we are studying theory, the various perspectives and genre that we're going to look at. And then after that, we're going to have the next module, which is Module 2, which is entitled Communication Elements and Technical Theory. So that will be around weeks 4 to 6. And in this one, we're going to look at the technical theories that are usually connected with various communication elements. So, what do I mean by this? So, we will look at communication theories in terms of theories of system, theories of sign and language, discourse, theories about message, message reception, message production, and how do we ascribe meaning into the messages that we are receiving. Basically connected to the communication elements. Now, with the next one, next module, which is module 3, we will have that by weeks 7 to 8. It is entitled Social Constructionism and Interpretation. In this part, we're going to discuss theories of symbolic interaction. We'll have dramatism. We'll also have social and cultural reality. How are these formulated? And then we'll also look at theories of experience and interpretation. All right. And then after module 3, we will have your midterm examination. It's a written exam through Canvas. And then by week 10, we will have your grade consultation. So, after the midterms, after the grade consultation, life goes on with Module 3. The title of Module 3 is Critical Theories. So, what are these critical theories that we are going to study? So, we will also we will have post-structural tradition, Michel Foucault. We'll have Marxist foundations, and of course, feminist studies, certain theories that are related to the ideas of feminism. And the last module, if I'm not mistaken, module 5, we will have contextual theory. This will be weeks 13 to 16, mostly the entire November. So with the last module, we will look at various contexts in terms of communication and the theories related to it. So we'll look at relationships, communication and decision making, organizational networks. It's a bit of a quick glimpse rather. And then the more focus or the vital focus that we will have in module 5 is of course communication and media. So we have a lot of theories to tackle there. Now, to cap our semester, you will have your final exams, but this time it will not be written. For finals, you will have an oral exam. Further details will be elaborated as we push through with the semester. And then the last module will be allotted for consultation. So that's how are we going to course through with the entire 18 weeks of our COMM1103 journey. Let us now proceed with the third and last agenda for our orientation. So I hope I'm not boring you to death. I hope you're still with me listening and all ears. So the third agenda will be divided into subcategories. So class matters and policies, we will have communication and relationship. How are we going to deal with each other professionally? And then submissions. We also have grades and consultation. And lastly, other helpful materials or certain addendums that will help you course through with your journey in purposive communication class. So let's now begin with the first subtopic, which is communication and relationship. Okay, so I might be too detailed with this one, but I hope you understand why I am detailing this with this one, because we have to set boundaries and we have to set expectations from each other since we're going to deal with each other for more than 4 to 5 months. First up is discussions. So I am hoping that you will be participating regardless if it's synchronous or asynchronous, and your learning modality, whether you're MOL or IS, it's your job as a student to participate. The kind of learning that you will have depends on the grit / passion that you will have for this course. So it's up to you on what sort of, effort and passion you will give in for this course and for your other courses. So I would just want to be clear that you are expected to participate regardless if it's synchronous or asynchronous discussions. Next is contacting the teacher, which is me. How am I, or how are you supposed to contact your teacher and even your other teachers in your other classes? So here is a suggested guide on how you can do that. We also have an example on the yellow box. So first is the greeting. Of course, it's a part of human nature. You have to greet properly. Example here is good day, ma'am RJ. Next, introduce yourself. You have to identify yourself. You also have to include from what course and section are you from. In our example, it says here, I am Nicanor Reyes from your COMM1103 Communication Theory, Section 4. And then be straightforward. Tell directly what is your purpose. In our example, I would like to clarify if we will use APA or MLA citation for our FA1. You'll be straight to the point. You can say, I would like to verify if we will have a submission for tonight. I would like to ask when is our next synchronous session, and that's it. And then do not forget the call to action. You have to say what is your expectation from the receiver of the message. Do you expect them to respond by saying your response will be helpful, or do you expect them to attach something? Do you expect them to call you through a video chat, through a cell phone call? So be specific. And the last is your closing salutation. So do not forget to close properly. Do not leave your receiver hanging. You can say, all the best, Nick Reyes, your favorite student, RJ Del Campo. Something like that. All right? Next up, communication platforms. We have various communication platforms, and based on experience, it's really tiring to hop from one platform to another and just, communicate. I think it would be helpful if we segregate and we define how are we going to use the various platforms that is available for us here in FEU. So first is MS Teams. You will see here, MS Teams is used for synchronous sessions and concerns that may benefit the class. So if you have questions and you think that your question will benefit the entire section, why not ask it in MS Teams through MS Teams chat. Next, we also have your favorite and everyone's favorite, since we do not have a choice, which is Canvas. So work submissions are submitted in Canvas, whether it's the Canvas discussion or your assessments. Actually, all of your assessments will be submitted in Canvas. I would like to be organized. I would want all of submissions to be in Canvas. I will be disregarding your submission if it's through MS Teams or through email if I did not allow you to do so. Because in Canvas, it's a lot easier because there's speed grader, the rubrics are there, the files are already there. And then announcements are also through Canvas. So you will be receiving synchronous class invitations through your email. And I will also be sending Canvas announcements so that, everyone will have a heads up on what's happening in our course. And grade consultation will also be through Canvas. The initial grade consultation will be sent through Canvas. And then the synchronous consultation will be through MS Teams. And if you have personal concerns that you think you feel that it would be between you and me, it can be through Canvas messaging or through email. All right. So other personal concerns that you wish to update your teacher, it can be through Canvas or through email. My response time are usually between 3 to 7 days. If I'm online, which is between 1 to 5:30 p.m., I can respond to you. But if there are times that we will be busy, and I hope you will understand, this is my usual response time, 3 to 7 days. If I do not respond to you after 2 days, please be patient with me and wait up until 3 to 7 days. Your understanding and patience would greatly be appreciated. Now, you might be asking, what are the reasons or instances wherein you have to send personal concerns to me? So these are the possible cases, and hopefully you will not experience these. Okay? So when to update your teacher? If you have changes and concerns in terms of learning modality, if you are a working student, based on my experience, I was unaware that one of my student last semester was working student. So I would really appreciate, and it would be helpful for us so that we can manage your time, how do we deal with things, okay? But please do not use this as an excuse to, so to do social loafing. And concerns such as living abroad, you're having a hard time with the schedule or transient scenario. For example, you have to move from a place here in the Philippines to another place, and then you have to experience certain protocols like quarantine. You have concerns regarding certain lockdown in your area. So please inform me, all right? Ahead of time if possible. And then, of course, we do not want to for these things to happen, but just in case it happens, if you have health or death concerns, update me ahead of time, okay? I'm a reasonable person, so please let me know. And then let's move on to the next. We are still with communication, okay, and relationship matters. There are so many things to sort, but I think it would be helpful if we will discuss this as early as now. Language in class, okay? Most of the students think that I will be limiting you with English only. But, I'm a nationalist person, and I believe that it would be helpful to cultivate our own language as well, okay? You can be a professional communicator even in Filipino language. So I have no concerns if you will opt for English or Filipino. The only catch here is that you are not encouraged to do code switching. When you say code switching, you're doing Taglish, okay? Nagpapalit ka from English to Filipino, like what I'm doing, okay? Nag-Filipino ako, and then nagtagalog, okay? In your formal outputs, whether it's written or output, I hope you will be straight English or straight Filipino. Okay, as long as you're comfortable with that language, I have no problem with that. But with informal communication such as synchronous classes, chats, pwede siguro I will allow you to do code switching. But I hope you understand the idea why I am discouraging code switching is that for you to be fluent and better in a certain language, the more practice that you do with it, the better. Hence, I will not prohibit you whether you want it in English or in Filipino. Kung mas matatasan nyo or at mapapainam nyo ang inyong pagiging Pilipino sa pagsasalita ng ating wikang Pilipino, walang problema sa akin yon. Alright, so that's code switching. Okay, but I hope you're getting my point here. I hope you're following my idea. Alright, so let's now move on to the next, okay, in terms of communication. This is the last point for communication and relationship. Let's now talk about online class etiquette. Whenever we have synchronous engagement, such as what we are doing right now, I hope you'll be guided with the guidelines on how you're going to behave and act out in synchronous sessions. So there are 6. I will be reading the details and then provide specific emphasis. And I hope you follow with your eyes. So the first one is be on the know. Familiarize yourself in Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and Canvas chat applications. Check class schedules and announcements regularly. So, most of the time with our classes, you will be seeing invitations and announcement in Canvas. So, make sure that you get yourself familiarized with the schedule that we have for synchronous session. So, double check your MS Teams calendar and announcement in Canvas. And in cases wherein Microsoft Teams is down, our plan B and C are Zoom and Canvas blue button. Okay, but so far, based on experience, MS Teams is good. Second, online class etiquette. Be on time. Yes, please. I'm the type of person who hates latecomers. Even at times I am, but we have to provide value with the time of other people. That's why you have to prepare 10 minutes before the time of the online synchronous class. For example, our class time is 1:30. We will begin exactly 1:30 unless there are those who provided an immediate feedback that, ma'am, can you please wait for me at least 5 minutes? Sige. But usually we begin on time. Class schedule will be followed in synchronous engagement. So, double check our class time in your certificate of registration. Third class etiquette is, of course, check your tools, double check your camera functions and video background for unnecessary online exposures. We're all familiar with that one wherein, for example, your father is walking behind you half naked. So, let's simply extend our understanding on those cases, and then if that happens with you, you prepare yourself in turning off your camera in such cases. Most of the time you are not mandated to open your camera, but there are sessions wherein I will give you a heads up that camera is very much needed and part of our discussion. Next one, mute your microphone by default, and if you are experiencing unavoidable background noise, such as in my case, there are dogs barking, ambulance, you're hearing, okay? So if you are experiencing unnecessary noise, you may mute it. And then choose a good steady location and position in terms of internet connection, noise, and focus. So I'm sure with the 1 year of online classes that you have experienced, or more than 1 year, you have to find that specific spot in your home, in your house, or that specific study location wherein you feel more comfortable and you are more productive. Next one, respect. Okay, so ask permission before doing screen capture and recording the discussion to the teacher. Well, most of our synchronous engagements will be recorded, but with your permission. And if you're going to record, for example, you find one of your classmates cute and you want to show it to your friend, to your neighbor, to your family member, it goes against Data Privacy Act. Okay, so we're going to discuss data privacy in module 3. Second bullet, wear proper attire which is presentable and professional looking. Avoid distractions for on-camera sessions. So, I'm assuming you're young adults. I will give the responsibility, the task on how you will define what is a proper attire. All right? And respect others' opinion and be careful with your words. Okay, so there are cases wherein we will have discussions wherein you might disagree with the opinion of another classmate or my opinion as your teacher. I think the first thing that we have to carry with us whenever we have synchronous session, whenever we have asynchronous discussions, is to show respect. Okay, I know it's easier said than done, but never forget, we have to have respect no matter what our circumstance. Still, this is the basic rule: respect. Number 5, limit. Okay, these are the things that you have to be wary and limit. Okay, such as use of mobile phones and other gadgets during synchronous online classes. There is time for your gadgets, for your other gadgets. There's a time for online shopping, for Facebook or other social media platforms, or online games. Okay, it can wait. This is the GE 111 period. You have to respect it. You have to give it to yourself. Limit private and other conversations. Mute your microphone and camera. If you need to, address the person you're talking to. For example, your mom called you because you need to buy suka sa tindahan. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, but make sure you limit you mute your microphone and your camera, and then perhaps you can give us a heads up wherein you have to do, for example, toilet break or home errand. I'll be back in 2 minutes, something like that, so that we are not left hanging on air. Limit food intake to light snacks and hydration fluids only. This is not a picnic period. I'm allowing you to eat during our sessions. I will give you a heads up wherein where you can start eating and do your snacks during our synchronous sessions. But please focus more on the topic rather than the snack that you have with you. Fluid hydration, you can have water, tea, coffee. Okay, what is I feel that you can intake what is more healthy. Okay. Last, for online class etiquette, be a responsible student. I know you've heard this 1,000 times already, but I wouldn't be tired in repeating this more than 2,000 times again. Okay, so be ready to take notes. According to research, if you are taking down notes, that would be better for retention and learning rather than simply screen capture and just simply looking at PDF files. Trust me on this, okay? Second, participate fully and be focused. Don't dominate the discussion. If you're the type of student who is from Jolly Town and you're a Bibo type of student, I don't mind. I really appreciate such students. But be sensitive if other classmates would want to talk as well. And then do ask questions and clarifications. Do not be shy. Do not be afraid if you have certain clarifications. There's no such thing as a stupid question. So, okay, walang problema yon. Last one, keep up with the readings and other input material. So, as long as you follow the study plan checklist, you will not get lost in this course. So, that's it for the first subpart of class matters, which is communication and relationship. Before we move on, do you have clarifications? If none, let's move on. For submissions, let's now discuss labeling your submissions. It's important that you label your submissions so that they will not be lost, even if you will submit them in Canvas, wherein in Canvas you're allotted a specific assignment notification. So still, it would be helpful if you label and organize your files and your submission. So here is a suggested format. So last name and first name underscore section number underscore the assessment number. So here's an example. So Reyes Nicanor underscore section 143 underscore SA1. So that's how you label your submissions. I think it's very much important to provide labels so that you are more organized in a sense as a student. Okay. Next, we have submission and deadlines. So most deadlines will be in, all deadlines rather, it will be in Canvas and will mostly be at 10 p.m. Okay, so take note of the following ideas. Submissions beyond the deadline will be accepted and it will be considered as late submission. Next, late submissions will only be accepted until 4 days after the deadline. So beyond 4 days of late submission period, that your submission will no longer be entertained unless you gave me a heads up that you have a specific concern that is acceptable. Submissions beyond the 4 day will not be accepted. And all submissions will be through Canvas unless I told you that you can submit through other platforms. So 10 p.m. I'm not a fan of the 12 midnight club. Beyond 10 p.m. let's rest and give yourself some time to replenish your neurons. Most of the submissions will be second day or second session of the week, but it depends on the gravity of the formative assessment. I sometimes extend the deadline up until Saturday, but still it depends on the kind of the assessment. But generally, most submissions will be second period of the week. For example, we meet every Wednesday, Saturdays. So second period is Saturday, okay? And that's when your deadline is, which is 10 p.m. of Saturday. Now, if you cannot help it, you have an unforeseen circumstance and you submitted late, okay? So here are the certain consequences of late submission. So the deduction grades are as follows. So from 0 hour to 1 day, for example, you submitted 10:05. That's still considered late. and it will incur 20% deduction. 2 days, 40, 3, 60, 4 days, 80%. And here's an example computation. So 50 points, for example, the highest possible score is 50. And upon grading your submission, you got 40 as your raw score. Okay, so the 20%, we will get the 20% of 50, that is 10. So we will subtract it from your score. 40 minus 10, it's 30. And then the rest will follow. So 40% is 20 points. So 40 minus 20, that's 20 points in total. 40 minus 30, that's 60%, 10, so on. If you got 80% deduction, that's 40. So 40 minus 40, that's 0. So that's for submissions and deadlines. I hope that's clear with you. Let's now move on when it comes to academic integrity of your submission. So we say no to plagiarism and yes to citation. The citation format that we will follow is APA 7. As of now, it's APA 7, but who knows, in the following months, it will be APA 8, okay? The website that I follow and I personally recommend is this one, Purdue OWL. If you type in Google, you type Purdue, APA Purdue OWL, OWL, okay? It will easily pop up. So OWL stands for Online Writing Laboratory. I do not personally memorize the online citations, but I rely to this website specifically if there are certain updates. Now, just in case in your submission, we have detected that you have plagiarized. How do we do it? So, we are still with academic integrity. We utilize Turnitin in Canvas for your submissions, and I hope you'll be guided with the similarity index scores. So, green is still acceptable. Yellow, acceptable but subject for review, but the red flags are on the orange and the red one. They are unacceptable and definitely subject for review. There are cases wherein students have 100% similarity index. For example, they are group mates. They submitted separately, so it's fine with me. So do not get me wrong. If, for example, you got 100, you got a red similarity index, we consider and we review what are the reasons why you got 100% similarity index or high similarity index. But if it is proven that you copy pasted from several websites, or you copy pasted your classmates' work, the very common phrase, penging files. So, we can detect it, all right? And the possible repercussions are as follows. So first, it will be a warning. So you'll be automatically given a grade of 0 for that assessment, and then intervention dialogue with me as your teacher. And if you're a strong-willed person, malakas ang loob nyo at inulit nyo ulit, that would definitely be a serious concern. So you'll automatically be given a grade of 0 for that assessment and possible failing mark for this course depending on the gravity of the case. For example, you did that for a summative assessment, so that's a definitely grave concern. Intervention dialogue with me. I will forward your case in the academics affairs and of course for guidance office because definitely you need help. All right. Now, in terms of improving your work, in Canvas submissions, there are multiple attempts. So I would like to clarify that in your formative assessments, you are given up to 2 attempts before the deadline. So if you wish to improve your formative assessment, that would be fine with me. I'm encouraging you to do so. And there are cases wherein I have time. I usually check first 5 to 10 papers if I have time, and then before deadline you can still resubmit. Okay, you can use the second attempt for your submission. However, with summative assessments, you're only given 1 attempt for the submission of your summative before or on or before the deadline. Okay, we have to value the sanctity of that submit button. Before you submit, you have to make sure that your work is of quality output. So that's for submissions. I hope I'm clear with this one. Let's now move on with the next part. Second to the last point for this orientation, we will have grades and consultation. So just to be clear, there will be no fudge points or extra credit or extra activities that will be offered. So I do not play any favoritism here. So even if you're a BIBO student, as much as I want to give extra credit, I hope will be fair. All right. So there are cases wherein students asked me and requested, "Ma'am, do you give extra points or fudge points because I attended all of your synchronous sessions?" I have to turn down that request because we have to be fair for students who have limited internet access. They want to participate, they want to be part of the class. However, their circumstance prevent them from doing so, and we have to, provide equity in terms of opportunities for students. So I hope you understand my stand on that. And then no extra activities, especially for those students who are about to fail the class towards the end of the course. Come on, you were given 6 to 8 assessments and you fail to comply. You fail to submit quality output, and here you go asking for additional work. If you were not able to do the previous 6 tasks, what is the point? Help me understand the logic why you are asking for additional work. So that's my stand on these ideas. So I hope I'm relaying my idea with you. If you have concerns with me, I'm very much open for your negotiation, for your perspective. All right. Let's now have consultation means. So please, I encourage you, utilize and consult with me, okay? Set an appointment. Even if it's not consultation period, you are very much welcome to consult with me, regardless if it's related with the formative assessment, summative, with our topic, with your academic life in general. If you think I would be helpful, if you think I am the right person to talk about it, I'm all ears. As long as I know my expertise can, be helpful on your concern. So be clear with your concern and assert yourself, all right? If you think there's something wrong with what I'm doing, I'm very much open with your reason. As long as you say it nicely, do not be too aggressive. Say it in front of me, all right? I have no negative points about it. I'm open with that. For the last point of our orientation, all right? We're almost done, so bear with me. Other helpful materials. There's an addendum folder in our Canvas files, okay? So these are the things that will help you, okay? So there's an APA guide. There's a PDF that I have prepared. It's APA 7. There are examples. Those are just simply basic, but you can still refer to the website that I have shared with you earlier. And then we have the PDF file for the summary of tasks and deadlines. So you will see there what are the tasks that you're going to do, what are the assessments, their title, how will you do them? Can you work on them individually, by group, or by pair, the highest possible scores, and then the week deadline. So that you will not be lost, you will have an idea what are the assessments that we'll have for this entire course. And then, just in case throughout this discussion you have somehow spaced out, you lost me with your internet connection, there are reminders with submission, late deductions, and online etiquette. And then, if, for example, you feel unmotivated or demotivated, you feel tired as a student or as a person in general, there is a folder in Canvas that is entitled "Are You Tired?" Okay, there are certain materials there that will help you, push through and get you further with this entire online course, specifically our course. So there's Zumba there if you want to dance yourself through your pain and your agony as a student. We also have meditation exercises, songs that will encourage you, writings that will encourage you, why do you deserve to struggle as a student. So those are the things that will help you course through this semester. I know it will be a tough journey, but I am here and your classmates are also with you. So at this point, do you have any clarifications and questions? The floor is now open.